Hello, good day everyone. This is Richard again for another edition of Learning with Rich. So for today's lesson, I'm going to teach you how to add and modify ceilings and ceiling components. Okay, so let's get started. So for the first part of the exercise, I'm going to show you how to add a ceiling and modify the ceiling properties. So since we are going to create ceiling, so from the project browser, I'm going to change my view. I'm going to the ceiling plan, okay? Because you'll not be able to see the ceiling on your floor plans, so that's why I'm going to select here the ground floor under my ceiling plans. So I just open this, and then this is where I'm going to place my ceiling. Okay, so to start creating a ceiling, so from the architecture tab, build panel, you will see here ceiling. So it creates a ceiling at a specified distance above the level in which it resides. So I select the ceiling here. Okay, and then after that, you will see the modify place ceiling contextual tab. So we have two ways of creating ceiling in Revit. Okay, it can be automatic ceiling, wherein it creates a ceiling at a specified distance above the level in which it resides. The other one is sketch ceiling, which what I'm going to do later on. So for the first part, I'm going to use automatic ceiling. Okay, and then I'm just going to make sure that I'm using the default ceiling here, the GW on MetalSTAAD. And then on my properties, let's say for example, I'm going to change this to 2700. Okay, so I'm going to change the height offset from level 2700, 2700 from the ground floor. So that will be the height of my ceiling. And then after that, as you notice, as I hover my pointer to a closed boundary, it highlights the boundary, right? So the ceiling that I'm going to use here is just a plain ceiling. So I'm going to click once to place the ceiling. Okay, so I click once. There you go. And then after that, I select modify. So I already placed the ceiling there. It's just the ceiling that I place is just a plain ceiling. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you, I'm going to select the ceiling. Okay, for you to be able to select the ceiling easily, just make sure you hover your pointer, or just make sure the select here, select elements by face is checked. Okay, so that as you hover your pointer, it highlights the face of the ceiling. Okay, you see it's already ceiling, so I'm going to click that, and then you will now see here the ceiling. Okay, so this is now the property of the ceiling that we just created, that I just created. So you see the perimeter, the area, and then the volume. Okay, so it's not that difficult. So after that, okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select another ceiling. I'm going to select the ceiling tool. And then this time, from my type selector, I'm going to select here 600 by 600 mm grid. Alright, so I'm going to select this. And then let's say, for example, the height that I want for my ceiling is 2.4 or 2400. Okay. And then after that, I'm going to hover my pointer here. The first ceiling that I created is not visible in our current view because the type does not have a surface pattern. So this time, I'm using 600 by 600 mm grid ceiling. So I'm going to place it here. I'm not going to place the ceiling in this floor. Okay, I'm not going to place all ceilings. So I just select part. Okay, you just need to get the idea on how to create the ceiling. So I'm going to pick here. There you go. So there's the ceiling. And then after that, I select modify. Okay, so you can easily select now the grid for you to be able to select the ceiling. As you can see, even though I selected the grid, still I selected the ceiling. And in case you want to modify the shape of your ceiling, just like your floor, you can just select your ceiling and then you will see your edit boundary. In case you want to edit the boundary of your ceiling, you can just recreate it. Okay, you can click that, you can drag up to here, so it's up to you. Okay, but for this one, I'm just going to cancel this. Yes. All right, so that's my ceiling. So another thing is that you can modify the grid of your ceiling. Okay, so you can edit the ceiling grids. Like for example, if you want to start the 600 by 600 here, I can use the align command here from the modify tab. So I'm going to select the align tool. Excuse me. Okay, so align. All right, then I'm going to select the vertical part of this wall here. And then I'm going to select the grid that I want to align there. There you go. And after that, I select this. And then I'm going to click this. All right. So there's your 600 by 600. So you can edit your ceiling grids. So aside from using the align tool, you can also use the move command in editing your ceiling grid. I'm going to terminate the tool. Okay, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to select the grid. And then after that, there's the move command. Okay, so I'm going to click this endpoint. And then I'm going to snap at the midpoint. There you go. Click. All right. So you can use the align command. You can use the move command to edit your ceiling grids. You can also use, you can just simply select the grid and then drag it. Okay, you can also do that. So I select and then see, I just drag. Right? I click and I just drag. Click and you can just drag it manually. Okay, next. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to show you how to sketch your ceiling. Okay, so for the first two ceiling that I created, I use automatic ceiling. Okay, so this time, I'm going to use sketch ceiling. Alright? Okay, so what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create the ceiling here. Okay, so again, I'm going to select architecture. And then there's the ceiling. Okay, and then this time, I'm going to select sketch ceiling. Let me change also the type of the ceiling. So let's say I use here 600 by 1200 mm grid. There you go. And then let's say the height offset from level, let's say I want this 2600. Okay, and then from the modify create ceiling boundary, boundary line, so just like your floor tool, you can shape up the ceiling. So let's say since this is just a rectangle, so I use here the rectangle tool, and then I click this one, and then I'm going to click this also. There you go. Okay, so I just closed my Facebook here. Okay, so after I create the boundary of my ceiling, so I'm now going to select check to finish it. So check. There you go. So there's my ceiling. And then I'm going to select here modify. Deselect. And then after that, I'm going to place components in my ceiling. So let's say I want to place a component here. So from the architecture tab, to place a component, so there's the place a component tool. So I select place a component. And then from the type selector, let's say I want to place there a lighting fixture. So where are you? It's already loaded here. Okay, so let's say I use this one. Okay, and then I'll just place it. So this family is ceiling hosted. That's why I can easily place it. But if you don't have ceiling, notice that if you move my pointer here, okay, if you move your pointer to the area that doesn't have a ceiling, so it looks like this. So if I move back my pointer to the place where there's a ceiling, so you can place it. Okay. So let's say, for example, I'm going to place ceiling lighting fixture here. So I'm going to place it. Okay, and then I select here modify. So I'll just rotate this manually so I can click the lighting fixture, and then you can press space bar. Alright, see? As you press space bar, it rotates. Alright, and then after that, I just use again the the align command or the move command. Alright, so I just select align here, and then let's say I want to align it here, and then I select that edge. Okay, so I want to align it here, then I select that edge. Here we go. Alright, and then I'm going to place again another component. Okay, so component, I place it here. There you go. Modify, select, I press space bar to rotate. Alright, and then I just align it again. Okay, there you go. Okay, align, align. Okay. Okay, so that's how you insert a hosted family or ceiling hosted family to your ceiling. Okay, it depends on how you create the family. It can be ceiling hosted, just like this family that I just placed. It can be wall hosted, it can be face hosted, but it's not part of our lesson. Okay, so after I attach or after I place the lighting fixtures or components to my ceiling, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some simple modification on my ceiling. Okay, I'm going to attach a wall to my ceiling. So as you can see, I have this section here. So I'm gonna open the section. Okay, so go to view. All right. So this is the portion where this is actually the ceiling that I just created. As you can see, this is the two lighting fixtures here. So let's say, for example, I do not want this ceiling to overlap or intersect with my ceiling here. Okay, I do not want that wall to intersect the ceiling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach a wall to my ceiling. Okay, so I'm going to select the wall here, and then from the Modify Walls contextual tab, there's the Modify Wall panel. So there's this tool that is called Attach Top Base. Alright, so it attaches selected walls to model elements such as roofs and floors. So I select this, and then after that, I select the ceiling where I want to attach that wall. So I select, there you go. So it's now attached. And then I select modify to deselect it. Alright, so there you go. So that's how you create your ceiling, and then that's how you attach your wall to your ceiling. Alright, so where's my ceiling plan? So this is my ceiling plan. Okay, so I just close the hidden windows, I open the section, and then from the view tab, I select here tile, okay, to show you the finish exercise. Okay, alright, I can also type SD, Sierra Delta, SD, to make the view shaded view. Okay, so SD. There you go. Okay, so that's how you create your ceiling. So just a recap, the ceiling tool can be found on your architecture. There's the ceiling. So you have two ways of creating the ceiling. One is automatic ceiling. The other one is sketch ceiling. So just make sure you are on the ceiling plan if you want to create a ceiling. There you go. So I hope you learned something from my video. And then if you kind of like it, why don't just hit the like button. You can also subscribe to my channel. So see you again. Until next time, bye-bye and take care.